How's it everyone, this is Local, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to take the Ele Hit Deadeye to the next level. Now this isn't the proposed Omni version that I was looking at, but I have invested a fair amount into this build and probably spent about 60, 70-ish divines on it to just take it up, and I'm going to show you what you can do to improve it. So if you're playing the previous version, that's fine. That version is still excellent. But some people did want to know, all right, well, I've done this version. I've got some currency. What do I do next? So I'm going to show you what we can do and how much it's going to set you back. So looking at the tree, it suddenly looks a little bit different, right? Previously, we were pathing all the way down here to get this jewel socket. However, we are now using our combat focus here. This is the lightning damage one, and this one over here, which is the cold damage one. Honestly, I think you should just path up this way anyway. The reason I think I was going this way was to grab the life, but I think these two positions are better. But let's hop in to one of the best threads of hope in the game at the moment, if not the best. This is a large thread of hope. What this does is it allows us to allocate passives within this ring without allocating the passives leading up to it. So this one thread of hope saves us, I think it's something like 18 points, just a ridiculous amount of points. There are some drawbacks, but this thread of hope, it will set you back 4 divines, maybe a little bit more if you're going for one with lower -2 elemental resistances, which I recommend. If you're going to go this route, don't get yourself a bad one. You're going to struggle with resistances. But this allows us to allocate Master Fletcher. However, we are losing a lot of attack speed with our bows. We're also losing a Mastery, which, I mean, this one was good, but it's not that good, so it's okay. It also allows us to allocate Multi-Shot. However, again, we're losing 4, 8, 12 attack speed. So out of these, this is 15 and 12. So we are losing some stuff by doing this. Then we can allocate aspects of the Eagle, Quick Step for some suppression and movement speed, one with Nature, and Primeval Force down here. With this, again, we are losing this Mastery. I didn't actually talk about this Mastery in the previous video, but hits have 25% chance to treat enemy monster elemental resistance as inverted. This is really good on this build because we don't have too much in the form of lowering monster elemental resistances. Elemental penetration and lowering resistances are two different things. So with curses like elemental weakness, it actually lowers the enemy resistance, in which case this mastery is less effective. However, penetration will still work through this. It'll flip it and then penetrate it, and then you'll get the full bonus. However, this build does have some more lowering of elemental resistances that we'll get into in a sec. So this large thread, amazing, so good. We do lose some stuff along the way. So despite losing all these travel nodes, it does give us enough points to allocate a full new large cluster with 2 medium passives on the side, and I think 3 more passives on top of that. So this is big. However, don't stress if you can't afford it. There is something else you can do that's really good and really cheap. So in this jewel slot, you can get some lethal prides that are really good that give you chance to deal double damage, and also fizz taken as elemental. Very nice defensive mechanic. So I think let's hop over to an older version of the build, maybe like this. This is the one that I showed in the video. We can now do something like this, unallocate that, rather pop in that combat focus over here, and then pop this one over here. So we go like that. And then what we can do in this jewel slot is get a lethal pride. Now, if you're not aware of it, there is this find timeless jewel thing down here. This will allow us to find some really good timeless jewels. So we click that, we pull up jewel type, we're going to go lethal pride, and then we're going to select the correct socket, which is down here, this one, Wind Dancer. And then we can choose which kind of nodes we want. So you go search for node, and then we can go double damage, and we can add in fizz taken as fire. So fizz taken as fire, and then we can go filter nodes. So this will only show nodes that we have allocated already on the tree. If we don't have this selected, it'll show nodes that we do not have selected. So I would check both just to make sure, because sometimes there's double damage that you can get for 2 points, which can be worth it. But for now, let's turn this off. This is just going to show us different lethal prize with these modifiers. So these are the ones that have, this one has 20% double damage and 5% fizz taken as fire. So you can go for a 2-2. I think I bought a 2-2, which is 10% double damage, 10% fizz taken as fire for 1 divine. People kind of overlook that fizz taken as, but it's really good in terms of defenses on this build. But what we can do, copy trade URL. Then we copy that code in, and it's going to pull up all the different lethal prides that match. So you can see here, 3 divines, 3 divines, 3 divines, 3 divines. 17959. Which one is that? Let's see. 17959. This is a 10% double damage and 10% fizz taken as fire. For 3 divines, that's excellent. I think these ones, there might not be any of, but you can go down the list and see what shows up. Some of them are going to be expensive, but sometimes you'll get lucky and find something really good. So you can pop one of these. So we buy this for 3 divines. It is now in our build, and we can see lethal pride. Nice. There we go. So if you're not going for the thread of hope route, you can grab yourself a lethal pride like this. It's really good, and usually quite affordable. So popping back in game, these points that we save from this thread of hope do allow us to get this large cluster, and it's again going to be a Feed the Fury, Fuel the Fight, Martial Prowess. And then over here, I've just gone for 2 eye-to-eye repeaters. This also gives us another jewel socket. I think I bought this one for 1 divine. Really good attack speed with the bows, max life, strength, and intelligence. And on this one, well, we've just got those Forbidden Flesh Flames that I spoke about in the last video, the Master Alchemist, which I'm still really liking. So this large cluster will set you back 4 divines unless you get one with only 2 notables. These ones are fairly cheap. However, if you get one like this with a bit of resistances, it's normally about 1 divine, but sometimes you can pick one up for 70 chaos if someone's not paying attention. But these are really good. Let's hop into some of the gear changes. Now, there is a lot. And guess what? There's going to be crafting videos for all of these items, and possibly also some written guides for some of them. So here is our new bow. It's very pretty. It's a +3. It has elemental penetration, well, fire penetration. But one of the most important things, and this is something I overlooked, thank you to Zenith for pointing this out, but this last node, this was on my bow in the previous video. I did not speak about it. This is essentially Secrets of Suffering for free on the bow. But when I looked at this before, I looked in PoB and I looked at my ignite damage, I unallocated it and I was like, oh no, I lose damage, but I actually wasn't doing that much ignite damage. So what this does is we cannot ignite, chill, freeze, or shock. However, our elemental hit inflicts Scorch instead, which lowers enemy elemental resistances by up to 30%. So remember when I was talking about the difference between penetration and lowering resistances? The reason I've unallocated this, and I don't mind unallocating this, is because this lowers the resistances. So if we're fighting a Maven with 50 elemental resistances, and now we Scorch her for 30%, now she's got 20 elemental resistances, and then we flip it, now she's only at -20, whereas if we didn't have Scorch, it would go from 50 to -50, which is 100 elemental penetration. So with Scorch, that mastery is a lot less impactful, which means that unallocating this doesn't hurt as much. But this is great. If you cannot get this on your bow, don't worry, you can get a form of it with the Interrogation Jewel. This is a unique small cluster jewel, 18 chaos. It's cheap, but it is going to set you back both a jewel socket and also a passive point. So this is 2 points that we're saving by just getting it on our bow, but it's well worth it. Definitely get this if you can. Sapped is really good. As for the other pieces of gear, we're using the same gloves. I've upgraded my belt. Again, there is going to be a crafting video for this. We just have a bit more chaos resistance. And the boots, same thing, chaos resistance, lightning res, strength, better move speed, And same for the helmet. This helmet is so good. You'll see me crafting it this week. Well, next week. We have chaos resistance, accuracy. Because we have accuracy on this, I was able to unspec these 3 points and allocate them down here to natural remedies for more flask stuff. So if you can get a lot of accuracy rating on your helmet, then it does actually free up some points on the tree. And we'll still have access to our precise technique. As for the chest, I bought this one with +2 socketed projectile gems. This is just +2 level to our barrage setup on our elemental hit, which is more damage. I actually bought this for, I think, 4 divines, 4 or 5 divines, 6 linked. I had to recolor it, but I just used a few of these little guys, tainted chromatic orbs, or what you can do instead, if you have a corrupted item, you can actually recolor it with the crafting bench. So don't worry, if you see one like this and it's got the wrong colors, don't panic. You can recolor it with the crafting bench or with some tainted chromatic orbs. So try get one of these. You can also just get a +1 level of socketed gems, or maybe even reduced lightning damage taken. That'd be really good. And as for the quiver, this is very similar to the other one, but it has bow attacks, fire, and additional arrow. I dropped the attack speed, which is a bit of a loss, but more projectiles is always good. Paid 4 divines for this. Not the best base. I wish it was on a broad head arrow quiver, but you know. And then one of the gem links I changed was, instead of using this elemental penetration support, I went out and bought an awakened fire penetration support. This costs 75 C at level 5, 20% quality, so get this super cheap. And this level 21, 20 elemental hit was about 30 chaos. So these are the links I have at the moment. I will make a list of all these upgrades. You can also hop into my Discord. There is a channel where I'm doing live updates on the build as I go, but I will also list the changes in the description. And then one of the biggest changes is this Progenesis. This frees us up from having to run Petrified Blood. It's essentially Petrified Blood, but better. Not only is it on an Amethyst Flask, which grants us chaos resistance, and as you can see, we push it. Hey, look, we're chaos res capped. It also gives us the same benefits. So during effect, 25% of life lost from damage taken occurs over 4 seconds instead. Pretty much the same as Petrified Blood without the downsides. I dropped my Topaz Flask for this. However, this little guy costs about 23 divines. So it's not cheap, but it's really good. Because not only do we have this, which is a better form of Petrified Blood, it also frees up an aura. And I've dropped in Purity of Lightning. So this grants us lightning resistance. It also grants us maximum lightning resistance, which is great because now we have 80% lightning resistance. I'm getting another 1% from my helmet. This you can get up to +2 max lightning resistance, but I've just left it at +1. So with this and the Purity of Lightning, you can get 80 lightning resistance. And with our lightning coil, that means that half of the physical damage we are taking is being mitigated by 80%. But we can actually make that even better. You can get this Watcher's Eye. So with Purity of Lightning, you can get 10% of physical damage taken as lightning damage while affected by Purity of Lightning. And this is, no one's buying this. No one cares about this. But for us, this means that 60% of physical damage is taken as lightning, which is then mitigated by 80% because of our lightning resistance. This I got for 1 divine. We got the anger penetration, we got the 10% fizz taken as lightning, and the unaffected by enfeeble while affected by grace. Just a nice little cherry on top for 1 divine. So you can have a look out for this, something like this, but try find a Watcher's Eye with fizz taken as lightning, Purity of Lightning, with hopefully a good roll, and then also one of the damage mods. So damage penetrates fire resistance or increased fire damage while affected by anger. That shouldn't set you back too much. And one other thing I've added to this bow is chance to deal double damage while focused. You don't have to have this on your bow, but it is really nice. It's an additional button that I can push, and hey, presto, 30% more damage or 28% more damage. So that's a really good bossing button. Well, for 4 seconds, 28% more damage. Alternatively, you can just use the 10% chance to deal double damage always mod. But I think that is going to be it for the main update of this build. If we want to look at the PoB, you can see the damage is way higher, although this is full PoB warrior mode. Everything turned on. Wait, Scorch 30%. It's actually better than that. But you can see our Fizz max hit and all of this is looking a lot better. However, Steelskin, I now have Steelskin on left click. I forgot to mention that. This is also a bit of a PoB trick. We turn that off and it drops down to 16k, which is actually pretty good, honestly. But yeah, it's another thing I changed. I didn't mention it, but Steelskin on left click. And one other thing that I need to mention is that Ensnaring Arrow apparently does not work with Chain and Pierce. So that's where we got this free socket from. We previously had Ensnaring Arrow here. However, I took that out, put my Blood Rage in here, and then it freed up a socket here, and that's where I got the Steelskin, which I've now placed on my left click, and it's also linked with Life Tap, so it's not going to sap our mana. And those are all the changes. So be sure to check the description below. That's going to have all these changes. I know it was a lot, but for people who are looking at taking the build to the next level, hopefully this helps you. If you have been playing the build and enjoying it, even on the cheaper version, do let me know. And have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Catch you in the next video, and stay tuned for crafting videos for helmet, bow, boots, and belt. See you later.